Hey everybody, Figure It Out Crew here, back again, and when it rains it pours as a action figure collectors, because in addition to the Snowcat, the Star Wars Vintage Collection team has graced us with a HasLab project. This time for the Star Wars LAAT gunship. So they just announced this, I think, over Comic Con. So we're gonna look through here and talk about it. Just initial reactions, guys. Mike, Tyler, what are y'all thinking?
I think we should let Tyler go first.
Okay.
Curious what he has to say.
Yeah. So really mixed feelings about this, guys. If you go back to the bucket list episode that we recorded, one of our first episodes, I think, was our one of the early ones. Anyway, was the bucket list episode, and a vintage collection gunship was 100% on that list for me. It's very high on that list for me. It's something that I've wanted for a long time. But I didn't want a HasLab gunship. I didn't want it upscaled and sold at $450. My thinking was take the scale you already had, which was good, and give it the vintage collection treatment. By that, I mean go in and add some detailing to it, clean it up, polish it, make it more screen accurate. Certainly include the gun pods that they did include in the vintage, in the HasLab, and again retail that to us. Retail it for $200, $150. I think that's very doable. 200 is probably more realistic nowadays, but what we got was, unfortunately, it's two HasLabs in a row where Hasbro has taken something that was good, just how it was, and they have inexplicably scaled it up so that they could push it into the ranks of the HasLab product. Again, we talked about this with the Snowcat. The HasLab is supposed to be something that you can't get any other way. We certainly could have had a vintage collection gunship without having to go HasLab. That certainly could have happened. We had really good. The toys we had for the gunships were really good. And as evidence for that, they're selling for, $300 something, pretty regularly on eBay. So, you can see that those are good toys. So, I'm a if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of guy. And the scaling of it was fine. It would have done just fine as a retail product. I just, as much as the vehicle guy in me is so excited to have a vintage collection gunship, the rational side of me says, why are we doing this? This is two in a row that didn't need to be HasLabs. Give me a HasLab that's a true dream project, but don't give me something that we should be seeing on a retail shelf or through online retailers or whatever. It's really taken something that I have wanted for a long time and made it into something that is very mixed for me personally. That's my initial take.
Mike?
Okay. So initially, I wanted to compare it to two things. One is the Ghost HasLab. The second was the Snowcat HasLab. I know that might be comparing apples to oranges, but just bear with me. So when it comes to the Ghost HasLab, I was a sucker for the Ghost. And when they announced the Hera Rebels action figure that's coming with it, with a mural, and then, the other three tiers, Kanan, Ezra,
Yeah.
Zeb. I was a mark for that dude, not that dude, but for that crew, that ship. So instantly I thought of value, right? Like, I'm going to pay this. And I didn't even think twice about it. But as I'm looking at the box and I see that the LAAT is $50 cheaper, I'm like, okay, similar in size from what it looks like. It's got comparable features. I was like, okay, but then I was like, wait a minute. The Ghost has a Phantom. So I guess that is equal in price, right? So you can compare the
But
Ghost to the LAAT. What were you saying, Joe?
I was just going to clarify. The Phantom's the shuttle, right?
Yeah, the
That
show.
that attaches. Yeah. Okay.
So maybe the price is on par, the price is equal. But going back to that snowcat value, and Tyler, if I'm going too far in the weeds, just be like, no, dude, I'm the vehicle guy, and you're absolutely crazy. But when you look at the snowcat, right, it's priced at $325, and on top of that, you're getting 3 action figures that are at the 6-inch scale. And then on top of that, you're getting interior lighting and lighting on like the headlights, and there's some various other light stuff. So I'm not understanding how something is $450 and it's designed for some smaller scale, and there's less features, same amount of action figures, because on the Ghost they went tier 1 action figure, tier 2 action figure, tier 3 action figure. They're doing the same thing for the LAAT, right?
Okay, so let
And
me scroll down.
the Snowcat
There you go.
is, they have the weird tier 2 thing that you either love it or you hate it. But either way, with the Snowcat, you also get blast effects, and I didn't see any blast effects on the LAAT.
Not any in there.
Please correct me if I'm
No, you
please
didn't miss
correct
it.
me if I'm wrong. So I'm not understanding the value. Am I out of my mind, Tyler?
No, you're dialed in. You're correct. Everything you said is spot on. I will tell you, the LED kit that's going to come with the Snowcat. I think people make a big deal out of that. LEDs and the wiring to wire up LEDs and something. It's dirt cheap. Those things are dirt. There's probably probably 7 cents worth of LEDs and wiring in the Snowcat. So it costs Hasbro absolutely nothing. I do agree it's a cool feature. It's something we should probably see as a standard going forward. But you're right. Here's a feature, and I don't think you're wrong. I think you're correct. I think when you look at those two and you compare them, the Snowcat I already felt was a little too expensive, and I look at the Gunship and I think, goodness gracious, these are two vehicles that I love dearly. They are near and dear to my heart. In fact, the Gunship is my AOK #1 favorite ship in Star Wars. Like it is awesome. It's based on one of my favorite military vehicles of all time, the Hind. The Hind helicopter. That's what it's based on. And I love it. I've ever since I saw it in Clone Wars, I was just blown up, just enamored with this thing. And I'm still really struggling. I'm not a day one backer on this. I think we're on day 3 right now. I haven't backed it yet. I very likely will. I think this is one of the ones that I would regret not backing. We'll talk about here in a little bit about how the campaign is going. Hint, it's not well. But to answer your question, Mike, I think you're spot on. The value is definitely not there, especially compared to the Ghost. Which, by the way, the fact that this is similar in size to the Ghost, based on what you're telling me, tells me again the scaling is wrong. The Ghost is not a massive ship by any stretch of the imagination, but it's bigger than a gunship by a fair amount.
Right on.
That's
Um,
what I had.
this is a pass for me. I was calling my shot. I was wanting the Outrider, and it's Outrider or bust for me. Just because that price point is steep, as we have, which is a point that I feel like we have belabored enough. But it's also it's not the Outrider, which is really like I'm kind of I feel lame because I'm not I'm kind of paring back on a lot of my figure collecting, especially with like big ticket items, and this gunship is absolutely a big ticket item.
100%.
But
No
I
doubt.
wish that wasn't the case. I like that they have the alternate, which let me see if I can pull it up. They have alternate side panels that you could use for kind of customizing depending on which Jedi generals it like you decide to get. Like they have like Kit Fisto and uh, was it Salacious Crumb, like that
Yeah,
alien creature.
there was
Uh,
a. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, and then just like a regular blank panel. If they would have included the like Tiger Shark one from the 2003 or 2005 Clone Wars 2D, like the 2D animated one with the ARC troopers when they go rescue those Jedi, man, that would
I was
have.
thinking the Padme pinup girl
Oh, oh yeah,
from
from
that
the deleted
episode
scenes.
that
Yeah.
Anakin saw it.
I think
I think
that I
that's
think
something.
that scene got deleted, and I really wish they would have kept it in because
Yeah.
that was the Bad Batch who was like, we like that senator from Naboo, and you can see Anakin just like his eyes start to get a little orange, and Rex is like, whoa, let's get you out of here.
Mhm.
This is another feature that I instantly saw and was like, man, this is going to be something Etsy is going to nullify as a feature. Because there are going to be folks out there that are going to be able to do pretty cool things with these panels. And there's a lot of artistic folks out there that could have possibly made like a decal set. I don't think it hit with me as a feature. I thought this was something like this is going to be made better by people later on.
Well, so I agree with you that there are definitely gonna be people that are going to make better pinups, if you will, for the nose of the gunship. But it is good that they're giving you 3 panels with 3
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
One of them's blank and the other 2 have different artworks on them. So one of the rarest and most expensive gunships to buy on the aftermarket is what they call the Crumb Bomber, and that's the one that has. I think there's a couple options for decals. I don't have that one, so I'm not sure if they're decals if they're painted on. But there's one that's a Twi'lek girl, and there's another one that's like a Salacious Chrome dropping a bomb, which is pretty similar to what we're getting in this. So
Oh,
that tile is.
yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
exactly. Oh, no, I was just confirming. Like
Yeah.
that's exactly what we're getting. See,
So
there's
yeah, so I think
there
we're
he
getting a
is.
copy of that, which and it's very popular. So I mean, that's at least one thing I would say is probably a good move, and giving us the blank panel that we can then have customized. If you don't give me removable panels and I want to have that customized, I have to ship that whole stinking thing to somebody to customize it for me. Now, if you get a decal,
Wow.
okay. If you get a really good water slide decal and you know how to apply them, you can actually get them to suck into the paneling and the crevices so they look like they're painted on. But realistically, if you want it to look painted on, you need to paint it on. That giving you the panels gives you the option to deliver just the panels to a painter, have it custom painted, get it back, and put it on. So I do like that. I think it's a feature, and I think that's a good thing. There are things they did on this that I think are really good. I am not excited about the tiers. I couldn't give 2 flips about any of the 3 Jedi generals that they're giving us with this thing. I don't care, not at all. Soft goods and all, which hey, at least they did some soft goods, but don't care. Don't want any of them. No interest. Zero cares. You missed a huge opportunity. If you're gonna do this, and you're gonna make it a HasLab, and you're going to charge us $450 for it, it's a troop carrying gunship. Give us a squad of 6 to 8 clones and a clone commander to come with it. If you did that, everything else being what it is, if you did that instead of the crappy tiers you did, this thing would already be funded. I have no question, no doubt in my mind it would already be funded. I mean, because that would be spectacular. People love to army build with the clones. You give them a clone army built in with this as a tier, and it's a different game. It's a whole different ball game. But they went cheap on us. They gave us 3 Jedi. That maybe there's probably some people out there that really want those Jedi and have been waiting for them forever, whatever. But
Yeah,
zero
I know
interest from me.
Sassy 10 has been requested a lot. So,
But I would want the Sassy 10 from again the 2D animated Clone Wars where
Yeah.
he's got like the cool light side Darth Vader looking like Jedi armor, and why they chose the version where he like from episode 3 where he gets cut down in 2 seconds by Palpatine is beyond me. But
I
yeah,
think this is Clone Wars because they're doing like a Battle of Geonosis type thing.
it is, but like whenever I see him in that robe, I just think of the 2 seconds of screen time he had in the actual
Right.
movies where he just dies.
He just gets
Same thing
absolutely
with
whipped.
Aegon Kolar. He goes out. At least he lasts maybe 3 or 4 seconds. against Palpatine, and then poor Coleman Traber, everybody's favorite dinosaur Jedi, gets shot down by Jango Fett, if I'm not mistaken. So, in again, like 1 second. So again, back to the panels. It would have been really cool since we were talking Padme pinup. Why didn't they do an Ayla Secura pinup? You know, that would have made sense. Let's learn. Let's just take what they're doing over with Marvel Legends and just
Yeah.
with the
Yeah. Missed,
with
missed opportunity for sure on that.
not Marvel Legends. Gosh, what's that game? Marvel Rivals.
Rivals.
Where yeah, their lesson in character skins, and let's just bring that over to the vintage collection HasLab.
Yeah.
But
It's funny how they'll try to stay on some moral high ground while they got their licenses out there doing that kind of stuff. It's like, listen, guys, it sells. Pay attention.
Yeah, how you push me over the edges with action figures. Like, I want Frostbite. I want Snow Lady J. And the Ghost, you had me at Hera. And then the tiers that unlocked, I was like, well, those are exclusive figures because of the card that they're coming on, because they're the mural, right? So that's how you got me. This, like Tyler said, I was thinking, why would I have these 3 Jedi when you could have easily made it an option of like the 501st or Plo's crew, or you could have easily had some sort of customized option to go with it.
Yeah.
But
if you want to
instead,
include
I get 2
go ahead,
and then
Mike.
3 Jedi that I'm like, I know Sese 10 has been requested a lot, but like I don't really am invested in these 2 Jedi. So no, I'm not a completionist.
Well, I'm a big, I love the deep magic, if you will, the Star Wars legend stuff. I love to invest in the lore and read and research all that. You want to give me Sese 10? Great, give me Sese 10, and then give me the clones that match up with Sese 10 that he would have led into battle. Like, give me tier 1 is the general. Tier 2 and 3 is like, here's a 4-man squad, and tier 3, here's an 8-man squad. Give me something like that makes sense for what this ship does. Gunships weren't carrying around, as for the majority of the Clone Wars, they're not carrying around 3 Jedi. They're carrying around 1 Jedi and a bunch of clones. And really, they're carrying around a bunch of clones. And there's like 1 out of every, who knows, 100, more 1,000, 10,000 that has a Jedi on it. So, let's do what this thing is supposed to do. And, I'll try to see if I can find a picture so we can add it. But I have 3 of these gunships currently in my collection. Not the HasLab one, obviously, but the original ones. My favorite being the original Clone Wars animated that you were talking about, Joe, with the blue stripes and the tiger shark, mouth. That's one of my top favorite toys ever. Like, I'm never going to get rid of that. I love it. The other ones I'm actually probably going to get rid of. But I mentioned that to tell you this. I have my Tiger Shark one outfitted with 501st clones, and I've got 8 clones and 2 that are standing in the doors on either side in the ship. It is plenty big to carry a full squad of clone troopers without needing to scale it up to make it a HasLab and charge more money for it. The way that the original mold is plenty big. It's the scale is good. It's all okay. You didn't have to do this, and you chose to go do that. And I think that there's the fan reaction to this is deeply mixed. I came across a kind of reading, and I like to kind of get my fingers on the pulse of what's out there, and I'm kind of reading some of the reactions. And I came across a post on Reddit, and it was I can't take credit for this. It was Anglo-Saxon admin that made this post, and he had actually graphed out the campaigns for the Ghost, the Cantina, the Rancor, and the Gunship. I don't think he even bothered to put the lightsaber on there because that was a miserable failure. But when I'm looking at that chart, the Gunship by far is the worst of that group. And if you recall, the Rancor never got funded. Didn't happen. The Cantina got funded on like the last day. Like I think it got up to 1 tier on like the last day. So the Cantina barely made it across the finish line. And they only wanted, was it 4,000, I think, backers for the Cantina? This thing is 8,000 backers to fund, and they are way off the pace.
I got it pulled up. Yeah,
If
I've
you
got
look at the way
I've got that chart you were talking about pulled up. So.
Okay, cool. If you look at the way that the HasLabs have charted, those first few days, that's when you see the bulk of the push. And if you don't have a successful first couple of days, the trends show you ain't gonna get there. And this is a limited chunk of the of even the Star Wars HasLabs. It doesn't include any of the other HasLabs that are in there. So, one of my favorites that I'm really looking forward to, the Ecto 1, it also it was on the struggle bus the whole time. It barely, no tiers, but it barely funded. I think, Mike, you sent me the message to let me know the funding on with like 2 days left or something like that. I mean, it barely got there. But the point is, the first couple of days are really key for those things to get the push and get out there and get on track. And the gunship it looks really bad. Like it looks like it's going to miss by a lot. Doesn't mean it will. Doesn't mean it can't rally. But I think that there's a message here for Hasbro, for the people in charge of the HasLab stuff, for whoever's doing this. Like, take a look and understand what's going on. My concern, or my fear, if you will, is that they're going to see this and they're going to think, oh, it's because it's Clone Wars. It's because it's prequel stuff. It's not. The issue that the fans have with this is not because it's prequel stuff and that stuff isn't popular. It's not because it's Clone Wars stuff and that stuff isn't popular. It's because of what you have given us or what you're asking for. An upscaled gunship, we didn't need it to be upscaled. You're asking $450. The value is not there. The tiers are not exciting to the majority of people. Maybe one of them, maybe SA10 is super exciting to a lot of people. I don't know. It's not to me, but maybe it is. But the tiers are underwhelming. What you're giving us for value is not there. So my sincere hope is that if this fail, I won't wish it to fail. I can't wish for it to fail because I really want a vintage collection gunship, and ultimately, I'll throw my ring. I'll back it. As much as I'm a vote with your wallet kind of guy, I don't want to miss out on this because I know that if this doesn't fund, we're never going to get one. They'll not going to circle back around and make it a retail product. We're never going to get it if it doesn't happen here. But take the right. If it fails, Hasbro needs to take the right message away from this. And that's like, guys, quit screwing around. Do it right. This is a retail product. It should be a retail product. 100%. Anybody can go look at the secondary market on the original gunship and know that this is a hot product that people want and would be tremendously successful as a retail product in the $200 price range. Like, hands down, no question, automatic, done. You'll sell out. I don't care how many you make, you're going to sell out, and you're going to sell out quick. $450 with substandard tiers and upscale for what? Because you want to take up more shelf space that your fans don't have? No. Take the right message away from this, please. It's not Clone Wars. It's not because we don't like the gunship. It's not because it's prequel stuff. It's because you did not execute this correctly. And in my opinion, this is 2 in a row that have been poorly executed.
Also,
I'm curious
I think
how this would be doing. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just gonna say, just the fact that it's a gunship. There was so many of these, and it was like the one that stood out was from a 2D animated cartoon like 20 years ago. Whenever it comes to these HasLabs, they really need to think about just keeping it with like the named ships, like the Millennium Falcon, Razor Crest, Outrider. That's why the Ghost did so well. Do the Ghost, the Ebon Hawk. Do Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
If you don't want to do that specifically, I would pay top dollar for the Jedi Defender ship from the Old Republic MMO or the Sith Interceptor. You can also do like the Millennium Falcon knockoff that they had in that game too. You've got to have the ship, do the tiers as the crew, print money. It's one of those things where like you're asking for all the troop builders to build a bunch of troops with a bunch of gunships that they're not going to be able to afford, they're not going to be able to store or display, and it's just going to wind up on the secondary market shortly after they get shipped. That's my thing. Like I want the named ships, I want the pilots, the crews that make sense with them. I'm also just bitter that it's not Outrider and Dash Rendar with Lebo and Luke and Koff Milan. So
yeah,
I wonder if the 4 in the hundreds place, if that was a 2 or 3, how much that would help. Because I just think they missed the mark on the pricing on this one. and the value. The Ghost, you got me with the action figures. You got me with the nostalgia. I mean, you saw in the chart how much, Rebel fans go nuts.
Well, also
I
that was
just
the only time that the entire full Rebels crew were offered in vintage collection. So if you didn't
exactly.
back the Ghost, you were not getting the Rebels as they appeared in the cartoon, and that was a big point for a lot of fans.
Yeah, and I know there's some fans out there that really like those Jedi that are coming with those tiers for the LAAT. But I mean,
Was it not, was it did they like it enough to be willing to bank the entire campaign on? I mean, time will tell.
yeah,
I hope
that's
I'm wrong.
something
Like
that's got to be answered.
I wanted to make, like, I don't like I don't like whenever the HasLabs fail, but I also like when HasLabs swing for the fences and nail it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the vintage collection gunship, I don't know. If it makes, it wouldn't surprise me too much, but if it doesn't make, it would not surprise me even less.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
That
mean,
makes
and
sense.
I like to say I like to call balls and strikes, right? So GI Joe Classified, I backed the Dragonfly, and I'm gonna back the Battle Cat. The Dragonfly,
Snowcat.
man, it comes with so much. Yeah, it came with so much. That Dragonfly, the big old honking piece, came with Wild Bill, came
Bunch of
with
stickers, decals. You could kit it out however you wanted.
yeah, and the Snowcat looks like it's going that way, and it's cheaper than this. And that's what I'm like really failing to see is there's more features. I don't know, man, call me crazy, but I'm starting to not see the value. The Ghost, I'm a mark. I saw the figures. They were going to be exclusive. You got me. But
well, the value is there for the Ghost. I agree with you. The value is there for the Ghost. Plus, the Ghost feels like something you would not get any other way except HasLab. That feels to me like something you're not going to get. So that was like they nailed it. And if you look at that chart that I posted, the numbers show that they nailed it. That was a home run. And what I don't understand is why they can't learn from that and continue to go up there and hit home runs. Because Lord knows there's no shortage of home run products within the portfolio that they could easily go do. And they have chosen to take something like this that should have been a retail product and not to mix my sporting metaphors, but completely fumble the ball.
I think Tyler and Joe have been correct. If there would have been like a customization option to have like your crew, like if there was a customization option to have like Plo Koon and his squad, you don't need to give Wolf because you've already sold Commander Wolf. But Plo's Bros and then this LAAT customized with a few pieces, you would have already had my money just because I would want those figures. I would want that Plo Koon and I would have wanted those troop builders because that'd be value. Like I wouldn't have to go and buy that many troop builders. Then I wouldn't have had to have bought the Plo because Plo hasn't came out yet in vintage collection. Commander Wolf is out there. I could have got another one.
Now, let's be honest. The reason that they didn't include troop builders, because I think that's probably somebody somewhere at Hasbro is smart enough to say, guys, we should just throw in squads of clones. People will love it. The reason they didn't do that is if this backs, I guarantee you, sometime next year when it's about to ship, where there's, a month or so away from being shipping, there will magically be a whole bunch of clone troop builders that get released that are out there to fill it up. And they want that. They want that money.
The His Tank crew.
Yeah, exactly. They will release products specifically for people to go buy and enhance it. So what they want to do is really make more money. They're not happy with your $450. They want $650 from you. And, their plan to get that is to get this out, get it backed, and then release a bunch of troop builders. And, it's just,
I mean, that's business, though.
I'm sorry. It is, but they got to learn a lesson because they could do this right. Like you could still make, to your point, Joe, you could print money if you did this correctly with the correct vehicle.
Yeah.
Like you could still make a ton of money. There are so many home runs available.
With the option I was talking about with customizing with, your own preferred crew. You could have had like an Ahsoka crew, stuff like that. But you could have raised this $50 for the troop builders with an extra 5 or 6. You could have easily upped this to 500. And I know I would have been a sucker and I would have bought the Plo version. right? I forget the name of the division, but it's the
Clothes
gray
Bros.
ones.
You just call them
Yeah,
Well,
Clothes
Clothes
yeah.
Bros.
Bros.
Well,
That's what I always called them.
you bring up an interesting point in adding that extra layer of customization of something like a HasLab, which really would amount to just a paint scheme. Like it's a paint scheme on a panel
Exactly.
and a paint scheme on some clones, which is not that big a deal. Like you're not retooling anything. You're just changing up your paint color, basically.
And you don't have to, just allow input. You could have a drop down menu, and you could have specific options, right?
Yeah. And we have an example of that fairly recently in the Ecto 1, where they released one HasLab, one kit, one car that's going to include the pieces for both the Ecto 1, which is the correct and best Ecto 1. Let there not be any doubt about this. And the Ecto 1A, which is the Ecto 1 from Ghostbusters 2, which is the incorrect Ecto 1 and is way too overloaded with nonsense. But the point is you back that, if you back that, you get both. You can assemble whichever Ecto 1 you want from the pieces that you get, and you can change them, presumably change them back and forth, although the decals will not match. But I say that to say this, it's not unheard of for them to do some customization within a HasLab project like that so people can get what they want from one project.
All right, let's run through. They've got a list of all the features and functions here. Let's run through, and we can see if we can try to find the value that Michael is unable to find, or says that he's not able to find for the 400. What was it, $460 offering, price offering?
450.
Yeah, 450. So, features and functions. This ship features 2 top missile launchers, each with 9 removable missiles, 8 in the rotating racks, 1 in the launch chamber. Cockpit with removable cover and seating for 2 figures. 2 swiveling front bubble turrets that each open to sit a figure. Slow opening hinged rear cargo hold side ports. 4 removable missiles under each wing. Click in place wing mounted rotary cannons. Set of optional side panels for fully enclosed display option. Inner sculpt details under removable forward panels. 3 sets of interchangeable forward panels for different nose art looks. 3 posable laser cannons, 2 in the front and 1 in the rear. Rear hinge opening boarding ramp. Hidden storage on the top of the ship behind the cockpit with removable panel. A flight mode vehicle stand, and a hover mode vehicle stand. So,
Oh, let me, if you don't mind, as someone who has owned, I think 5 of these, still own 3 of them from the original toys of this model. If you don't mind, I would love to compare what they're telling you are the features in this with what the original toy had. We can talk about what's actually different. Because I think if we're going to talk about value, we need to talk about what they have upgraded and what is different. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. 2 top missile launchers, each with 9 removable missiles, 8 rotating racks. The original did not have that. Those racks are just molded in details. They're not terrible, but they certainly don't rotate or have removable missiles. So cool. Cockpit with removable cover and seating for 2 figures. Yeah, the original has that, guys. That 2 swiveling front bubble turrets that each open to sit a figure. The original did not come with that. There may have been a model that did, but most of them, in fact, all of them except potentially one, did not come with the bubble turrets, but the bubble turrets can be purchased separately, and they opened up and they fit a full-size clone figure. So kudos, it is a feature. This is something that this comes with that the originals did not, but they were definitely attainable for the original. And they're actually today one of the hardest to find details to add to your gunship. So my gunships don't have those because what they're asking for those is ludicrous. So that's a feature. Cool. Slow opening hinged rear cargo side panels. The originals got that. They open nice and slow. It's very smooth. It's one of the better actuators. That's an automatic deal. You push the button and they pop out and slide open. Originals got it. So you're not adding anything there that we don't already have. 4 removable missiles under each wing. Originals got that. You're not adding anything we don't already have. Quick in place wing mounted rotary cannons. Originals got that. You're not adding anything there. There's no extra value there. Set of optional side panels for fully enclosed display option. Yes, the removable side panels, the original does not have that. We did get a Crumb Bomber option, so we have one that's got painted side panels. I would argue that the Twi'lek they've got as an option there is better than anything they're giving us in the HasLab. But the removable panels, I'll give you okay, it's a feature because I can remove it and give it to find somebody who can really paint something and have whatever I want painted on it. Inner sculpt details under removable forward panels. Original didn't have that, but who freaking cares? I don't care. Resets of interchangeable forward panels use different. I guess I'm missing. I thought that was the optional side panels. I thought that's what they were, but I guess you can. I need to figure out what that is for sure. But anyway, interchangeable forward panels we've already covered. Then those are. 3 posable laser cannons, 2 in front, 1 in rear. Original's got that. They did make a faux pas in the original and made those little spring loaded, like the 2 front laser cannons, they made spring loaded missile things. That should never have happened. That was a mistake. But it does have all 3 of the posable cannons. So you're not adding value there. Rear hinge opening boarding ramp. Original's got that. No value. No extra value. Hidden storage on the top of the ship behind the cockpit with movable panel. The original does not have that, but that's not a feature. That's, hey, it costs us less if we make this hollow than it does if we make it a solid chunk of plastic. Also, it's a little bit lighter, so it's cheaper to ship, cheaper to make. That's not a feature. That's you saving money and trying to play it off as something. Flight mode vehicle stand, hover mode vehicle stand. Original didn't come with stands. Acrylic stands, easy to come by, very cheap to make. Okay, you come with it, cool. Couple bucks in value. So anyway, that's my rundown through the list of the features that they're listing in this new HasLab that compare it to the original, which again, vintage collection, just the vintage collection in general is supposed to be upscaled in detail. It's supposed to have more detail. It's supposed to have more features. It's supposed to have all of that stuff. So you're not giving me anything that blows me away. This is stuff, pretty much everything I want except the side bubble turrets. I have all that already. This is something I've wanted for a long time, as I've mentioned a few times. And it's just like, God.
Yeah, because you and I were talking about your wish list the night before while we were playing some Warcraft, and this was on it. Like you discussed this very thing.
I did. And if they released exactly what this is at $350, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have a very different reaction to it. I'm a lot more excited and a lot less critical.
Yeah, well, I wonder the rest of the community is like that. If this had a 3 instead of a 4 in front of it.
Well, 2,085 backers are into it enough to go ahead and cast their vote with their wallets. Let's final thoughts, guys. Is this, are you getting this? Are you not? Where's your head at?
This is so difficult for me. I'm a vote with my wallet guy, and I think that Hasbro needs to be sent a message here in that you need to do better. Unfortunately, I know for a fact that Hasbro will misinterpret the message if this fails, and we'll never get another chance at it. I'm gonna back it, and I know in my heart I shouldn't, but I'm gonna back it, and I hope it makes.
I respect that. I am not. I have one of these. It's a custom by my older brother, so it's even more special to me. I'm a figure guy, and there's not really anything that is pulling me by the ear figure-wise. Also, I'm backing the Snowcat, so that's going to take up room. I'm going to pass on this one, folks. But no judgments for me if you back it, because LAATs, man, they're a really cool gunship.
Freaking awesome.
So that's my answer, Brofus.
Yeah, the decision to release a G.I. Joe Classified and Star Wars Vintage Collection overlapping HasLabs certainly was a decision and a choice that was made. Again, I have been very vocal about wanting a Outrider HasLab. Now, there's probably a lot of people saying like, I don't even know what an Outrider is. Like, it's a pipe dream, it's Legends, it's never going to happen. Well, then I get to save that money and not have to back a HasLab that I'm lukewarm on. So I do love the LAAT. However, it is a pass from me.
If you don't know what the Outrider is, if you're one of those people that Joe was talking about, do yourself a favor. Go learn about it. If you like Star Wars, you're gonna love it.
But I'm not gonna back the gunship. But again, I hope it makes. I love it when people get figures, and I
taste your bliss.
People, yeah, exactly. Like, if you got it, ball out. But that's gonna do it for us. Had to talk about it. Follow up with the Snowcat HasLab video. So when it comes to the Star Wars Vintage Collection LAAT gunship HasLab, on behalf of Mike and Tyler, myself. You guys helped us figure it out. Take care. Bye.
Bye, y'all. Tyler's like the Shania Twain over here. That don't impress me much.
It's sad, but it's true.